Good morning and a hearty welcome to this webinar on Equip Yourself to Lead Change, Lessons in Leadership. Today we have with us a very esteemed speaker, Mr. Ashok Narayanan. Mr. Ashok holds an MBA degree in International Business and Masters in Engineering from BITS Pilani. Currently, he is working as a Senior Principal Software Engineer for IDRAC and CMC Firmware Development at Dell's EMC Bangalore Development Center. He is having over 2 decades of software development experience in both management and technical leadership roles. He is also passionate hands-on engineer with strong expertise in bootloaders, Linux kernel, device drivers, security, Yocto, and machine learning and artificial intelligence. On behalf of the management and the Department of Business Administration, I extend a hearty welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. I welcome all the attendees to this webinar. Welcome one and all. Let us start the session. Over to you, Mr. Ashok.
Yeah. Good morning, participants, and thanks for having me here. As Chitra mentioned, I am from Bangalore. I work for Dell EMC as a senior principal engineer. So this is my LinkedIn profile. At the bottom, you can see my profile page. Please feel free to connect to me, and later if you have any questions regarding the sessions, and please send me a direct message. And as I have about 2 decades of software development experience, and mainly in the embedded space, chip bring up activities, and feature development for on a product, as well as owning the flow of product ownership. And so along with that, I also picked up a few other skills recently as the industry changes. So I'm trying to share my experience, how my journey, throughout this 20+ years of experience to you all. Okay. So little bit about me, I won't be taking too much time, maybe 2 minutes here. So I started my career in '98, from Tektronix Engineering India Limited. And then I worked in Mindtech and BCM Communications and Broadcom R&D, then right now in Dell R&D. So coming to my academic, basically I'm a BTech graduate and in '98, and then I did an MBA in 2008, and also recently did an MTech from BITS Pilani on data analytics in 2018. So I'm a firmware engineer. Basically, I work on embedded development, writing firmware, basically in the C programming language and Linux environment. And I'm also an artificial intelligence ML engineer. So basically, this is a disruptive technology, which is finding its way into all the domains, whether it is embedded space or application development or finance or any domain you pick up. Now we see use of or effect of this technology in those areas. So I'm also a student, like you all. I do my quizzes and write assignments and write exams even now. And I'm also a cyclist. I cycle to work. I do cycle about 40 kilometers daily, and I was doing it till lockdown. And of course, after this lockdown, that is not as regular, but only on weekends and things like that. And I live in Bangalore and with a wife and 2 children. So this is what about me. And coming to next. So I was given the topic to talk about leadership qualities. Okay, so this is a very, very wide scope. So there are so many areas one has to cover to become a successful leader. And so we pick up these skills, with experience and by following others, how they are working on in the industries. And we will, definitely all of us will have some few role models to follow, right? So and you observe them, and you read books, and you attend professional classes like you guys are attending now. So this skills develops over a period of time, but it is important to know what are the areas we have to be learning, or at least keep a tab on to make sure we are improving all these areas over a period of time. So this is a limited time, right? We have about 40 minutes, so I won't be going through all of this. So I broadly split into 3 sections. The first section is about tools, which I believe most important tools, which it is not only on the books. Many business, even in our group, as a personal level, as a team level, and as a company level, we do this we use these two tools extensively. So the first one is SWOT analysis, and we also go through the SMART goals, how to set up a SMART goals. Then the next 3 things are very important. They are the differentiators from us, from others. How we brand ourselves, and then what is the role played by the emotional intelligence and ethics and trust. So this is a very small subset of the entire leadership skills topic, but I feel these are very important for us to go through, at least a review in this session. The last session, how do we plan this game, right? We have to be reskilled periodically, and I want to share a few of the resources which I follow every day. So I felt it is very helpful, and I want to share that to you all. So this is what we are going to spend in next 45 minutes. Okay, so let us talk about the SWOT analysis. I'm sure, because you all MBA graduates, probably you know this topic already, but still I want to go through how we do it in our business. So the SWOT stands for strength, weakness, and opportunities and threats. So if you see this, it is basically 4 quartiles, and the first 2 are internal, and the next 2 are bottom 2 are external. And the left side it is positive things you write, and then the right side it is negative points. So by doing this exercise, right, you will find where you are good at, where is your weakness, and what is the opportunity you are finding, and what are the different threats. So this is a very well-known tool, very simple. You pick up a paper and then start writing all these things, and then keep a eye on how you are going to improve all these different skills you written in this sheet. So I have written an example SWOT analysis with respect to a student. Basically, you can write as a strength. I have a good interpersonal skills. I have a great degree, and I have a good critical analytical skills and strong language communication skills. So these are some examples, which it may be different for each one of you, but you can start filling similar things in your green quartile. And then you can also write where you are finding weakness. What are your weakness? You are a little relevant work experience, and you lack stress management, poor in dealing conflict. So these points are just example. It may be different for you, but honestly write down what you feel about yourself. And if you are finding difficulty, ask your close friend what they observe on you. Just write them down, right? And then the opportunities, what opportunities you see. Suppose you are doing this MBA or BBA or engineering, what are the opportunities you have after this completing this course. So write down those things. And then the threats. Everyone have a common threat now, this COVID-19 virus, right? So, and also the economy is also started getting into recession. So those are some of the threats you have, right? So you can capture all those things. Now next is how do we manage this SWOT analysis. So by writing down all these points in your sheet, right, you understand, so you basically understand where you are, or what are your weakness and the opportunity and threats. Now we have to work on these things to improve. We want most of the things into the green boxes, right? So we want to work towards that. Right. So the important part is we have to keep SWOT analysis every quarter at least. So if not at least month. So we have to review this. Basically, the last quarter my SWOT analysis was this many points, and did I improve after 3 months or not? So so the basic point to be noted is, we have to repeat this every 3 months at least. Okay, so this is where we measure ourselves, to see whether are we improving or not. So now the question comes, how do we measure or how do we improve on all these SWOT analysis points? So that's where the setting the SMART goals comes into picture. So it is a very, very essential tool. So we will go through that next one. So for each of these, the threats you have or your weaknesses or your opportunities, for those things you can set your SMART goal. And basically the SMART goals stands for okay, so I just skip this slide because I have so many slides to cover. It is basically defining a goal. Right? The SMART goals basically stands for specific, measurable, and the goal should be attainable, and it should be relevant and also time bound. So this is what SMART goals stands for. Okay, so now I want to go through a few examples of setting the SMART goals. So here, if you see, it is very well defined, right? So it is specific. You are going to do it for a specific task or one of your weakness, or to find or go after the opportunities. So you have to capture that part in your SMART goal, and it should be measurable. No, you should measure whether have you improved or not. Then attainable. No, it should be reasonable to do that goal. No, don't set a goal which is not realistic. It should be attainable and it should be relevant for you right now. So relevant in the sense which will help you in the near future. So that's what I mean by relevant, and it should be time bound. The goal should not be infinite time. It should have a specific duration where you are going to perform these activities. And here are some examples I captured. Okay, so let's say I want to work out 3 times a week for 45 minutes for the next 3 months. So this is an example for SMART goal. Okay, so here the specific means it's a workout. I'm talking about a workout, and that's a goal. And measurable, 3 times a week, and for next 45 minutes, right? 45 minutes for next 3 months. So it is a measurable and attainable. No, it is not something which is impossible. It is possible. It's a 45-minute workout you can do for next 3 months. It is very much attainable, and it is relevant for keep us healthy. And it is time bound. It is for 45 minutes every day and for next 3 months. So like that, this is an example for a SMART goal where you can make sure that how do you measure this? You can keep an Excel sheet to mark whether you are practicing this every day or not, and you can see at the end of 3 months you will definitely start seeing that your goal will be improved, achieved. And similarly, you can have multiple SMART goals. So the way I look at this SMART goal is, I will set up multiple SMART goals for me. For every hour or every 2 hours, I should have a SMART goals. How I'm going to spend next 2 hours, right? You definitely it is not that only your career plan should be in the SMART goals. Your family, your work-life balance, and all those things also can be part of the SMART goals. So it is not just career-oriented, right? And one of the good thing about the SMART goal is, few of those goals you can overlap. For example, the workout 3 times a week, you can overlap with listening to a podcast of your well-known personality. So you achieve the same 2 goals at the same timeline. So try to find how many goals you can overlap, and then so you'll make use of the time effectively. So this is one of the point I like about the SMART goals. And then the branding part. So right now we talked about 2 tools, and then we are trying to see how one is differentiated from other people, right? The rest of the world. So the personal branding is very important, and it is basically identify us, how others see us, right? How others perceive us when they think about us, right? So it is basically professional identity, our online and offline identities, and our goals. Are we communicating our goals? Then our unique qualities, and basically which is derived from our strength box of our SWOT analysis, and the values, and the brand advertisement. Like we see product advertisements, we also have to advertise our brand, that people should know that we are good for these skills, so that they can approach us, and they will benefit from or we also learn from different engagements. And these are some examples of SMART goals or personal branding here. So here, if you see, when we listen or when we hear the name Mahatma Gandhi or C.V. Raman or Ratan Tata or Sachin Tendulkar, Sri Ramanujan or Abdul Kalam. So there are a lot of things comes in our picture, right, in our mind, So that's a brand they created for us, for us, brand created by these strong personalities. And so this is what I mean by the personal branding here. And I just want to capture, some old personalities who created very well-established brand, like Aryabhatta and Sushruth, and they're all very famous astronomers and mathematicians, and who did the surgery, right? Very first Indian ancient surgeries. So these are the brand value, right? So we have to be very focused on building our brand value. Then the emotional intelligence. So this is another area which is more and more used in business. It is basically self-awareness, right? First, we should have a very good understanding about ourselves, and then we see, we can expand into two more boxes, where we also aware of our social and self-management. You have to build up social skills, and you have to create you have to express empathy. If your friend is struggling, then try to help them to see what are the problems they are having. Maybe by spending a few hours with them will help them to overcome that difficulties. And you also have to do self-management. Time management is one of them. Then self-control, transparency, adaptability, and so these are the points you can consider under self-management. And once we more and more practice this social and self-management, then finally we become, or we'll naturally accepted by the society, right? That's where we see the relationship management. And organizations, the leaders, directors and VPs and all, they have a very good relationship management, with respect to all their employees. They even remember all the names of their staff members. Even if they have 500 plus members reporting to them, they remember all their names. So they want to keep that every employee is an important resource for the organization, and they keep a tab of what they are currently working on, whether they are enjoying, or are they having any difficulty in performing in their day-to-day work. So these are the relationship management skills they have developed over a time, right? So and in every slide, I have a link at the bottom. If you if you happen to see this video later, you can go through that. It's very important links I have provided there. And this slide, I won't be going through in detail. So basically, I just want to, based on the emotional intelligence and one's nature, there are different types of leadership styles we see in our organizations. Few leaders are very visionary, and few are very coaching. They help their team members on to mentor, to coach and mentor in their career. Then affiliative, democratic, and pace setting and commanding. These are the different types of leaderships. And later, when you watch your videos, right, you can go through. And also, I have provided a link below the slide, so you can read through this. So the ethics and trust is another important area, which all organizations probably gives very high importance. So what it means is doing the things right. So this is an example of what happens when we don't follow the ethics, right? So in 2015, the Volkswagen drops by 23%. All of you maybe remember that there was a diesel emission in the testing. They have done some mistakes, and that is brought up by few researchers, and that impact is huge, for not only for this Volkswagen company, but for the whole German brand itself. Right? The country's brand image itself is impacted by this. And this news is there in many resources, but I have taken it from the Bloomberg. And the CEO also said, deeply sorry for this broken trust. So this is very important to keep our ethics high, and whether ethics very high in our business. because it not only affect us, it affect the business and the life of many other people who are involved in this. So it's very important, ethics and trust. I hope all of you remember that the trust building is very difficult, but the breaking the trust is very easy, right? So just keep in mind, that we only got to give more importance for ethics and trust part of it. And this is one, reskill. So when I was doing SWOT analysis, in all these years, one of the things which always comes in the weakness part of is the skills. As you know that I have graduated in 98. Probably the programming language I learned is Fortran. I don't know you ever heard about that language? It is a Fortran language, and Linux wasn't there that popular. And the microcontroller or the processor I studied is I think 8051 or 8085. So these are the technologies studied. So the world has changed a lot since then, right? So if we are not keeping up to date, current and relevant, we are out of the job. That's how it is in this, and it's very fast moving. It is not that I learned something today and maybe it is relevant for next 1 year or 2 years. That's it. And we have to learn new things later again. So this is very important, and probably it is there in all of our SWOT analysis also. But I want to share how I get energized to learn new things, right? So this slide may be specifically for technology oriented, but since you are management students, there may be something relevant for your domain as well. Just find out how things works in your domain. And for me, it is like how security works, right? And how income tax able to process all the returns quickly. What are the skills they are using it? Probably RPA or AML, and how online, in the Indian railway or banking systems works. What are the architecture they are using? So you may study about distributed computing or security or cloud computing and all these different aspects. You can also see we all use Google every day, right? And maybe see how it works. It just gives your answers within a millisecond of time, and it gives you the most relevant answers, right? The very first link itself. So how these things works, right? There are tons of documents in the internet, and how it picks up the relevant information for you. And so these are some of the things which keeps me motivated to study further. And the Amazon, Netflix, and whenever you log into Amazon to buy a product, and it also brings all those relevant other products for you to that you may like this also, right? So how all these things works. And one of the other things which I really liked is when I did engineering 98, there were not many practical applications of mathematics which I was able to relate. But when I study this, the implementation part of this, right? I see a lot of correlation or a lot of applications of what you studied in your degree or engineering. So you basically go back and relook at all your textbooks, how you maintain all those textbooks, and then you will have a very clear understanding of those subjects. Most of the time what happens is we study to get marks, and then we study to get marks, and then we get marks to get some job. And once the job is given, then most of the time what I have seen, in my experience, it is not only me, or it is I have seen in my team also, that in general the people tend to work towards the projects, and they build skills towards the project, but very less time people go back to academic again. And so this mistake happened to me as well. So from 98 to 2006, I was working on good work it was. I was working on Linux and embedded systems, and I learned a lot. But then I missed going back to academic again, right? So I missed to see what is happening in the academic, what researchers are working on, and what are the new skills or new disruptive technologies coming up. And that's when I started, in 2014, 2013 or 14, I started learning about this machine learning and artificial intelligence. And so this is a disruptive technology, right? So So you should be very careful with or not to make this mistake of like I did. So you should be keep a watch on this academic part. Then go back to the universities, see what are their current syllabus, what are they teaching now. And back then it was also difficult to online courses were not that popular, but now there are a lot of online courses available. So I will go through those some of them. So probably spend more time on this slide. So I hope this message is a little clear now. And some of the resources, right? Yeah, so this is one slide which I want to everyone to understand. In the past also there are so many recessions happened, right? Probably 10-15 recessions you can see in the first column itself, and the duration in the second column. And on average, each of this recession, right, or economy downturn, or however we call it, it lasted about 11 months, or probably this time maybe a little more. Maybe it is coming together with the COVID-19 issue as well. Right, and maybe 2 years. Let us take it as 2 years of duration, and the impact of GDP is in the third column. And so what happens the next 3 columns, right? You can see the economy is going to come back, right? So the first year how it came back on average, and third year how it came back on average, and then fifth year how it came back on average. So what is important now is in all these recessions, right? It creates a new opportunity for a new set of people. So we have to make use of this duration, right? The second column, which gives you an approximate of 1.5 to 2 years time frame to reskill ourselves to be relevant when the economy comes back, right? And this recession also created a lot of opportunities. Every recession creates opportunities. So we have, if you already skilled in those capturing those opportunities, start right now. So that is required. Identify the resources and start right now. And so this is a survey by Gartner. Even the previous slide was from Gartner. So this slide says 70% of employees says they haven't mastered the skills they needed for their jobs today. So this is the true. This is true nature of the people who are working on the industry right now. They haven't specified which domain or which industry they're talking about, but it is you can say 50 to 70% people in almost all industries are not skilled. So why it is so? Because the new technologies are coming up, and the legacy or the existing employees are not upskilled themselves, and so those are the reasons, right? So this is an opportunity for many of you, who are now finding you start or trying to start your career. So understand these things, and this is a very big opportunity, or this is going to be the differentiator for you to to get into the job or get into any new your own enterprises, things like that. And this report is from 2019. And so this is this slide talks about the industrial revolutions, right? We are now in the fourth revolution. The first one was steam engine, and then we put electricity, and then it became industrial revolutions, manufacturing sector. Then we put electronics and computing became the next revolutions. So now we see a lot of computers coming up, laptops, computers, and mobile phones, things like that. Then now it is the revolution is driven by the intelligence. Intelligence here basically the AI and ML skill technology and related stuffs. So since we are now going through this, each of these industrial revolutions, right, it require a lot of reskill. It is going to create a lot of shortage of the quality skills, and we have to make use of this opportunity. And this is an example of a company called Netflix. I hope all of you are aware of Netflix, who streams videos or movies to our mobile phones or TVs, right? So how this company has gone through the revolution, right? So initially the company was set up with selling or renting the DVDs through mails, postal mails. I think the slide may be the font may be little smaller. Just I'm trying to explain what is written in this slide. So they started renting the DVDs, and then they slowly created online streaming of the DVDs movies in 2007. Then they created a profile of users who watch their movies. Then they try to correlate movies and profiles to find similar other people and they started using this technologies, AI and ML technologies to recommend movies for you, right? So that's how the business has grown. So they have changed from renting a movie through postal system to online streaming with content profiling, right? So this is what happens when if you adapt technology. The business has grown so much, and they are still relevant in this market, right? If you don't adapt the change in disruptive technologies, they won't be able to sustain this business, and they won't be able to improve the business. And this is so this page I have taken from the Wikipedia. So these are the disruptive innovations happening right now, right? So go to this Wikipedia page and go through each of this link, right? It is the researchers captured how much value each of this technology provides, the opportunities provided by this each of these technologies. So try to see your if you are planning for further educations, and or you want to acquire new skills, spend time on these domains. So okay, so next few slides I'm going to talk about some of these apps, mobile apps, or the companies or internet or web pages which I'm going to talk about, which I use every day, right? The quality education is almost free nowadays. There are LinkedIn education available. There are Swayam and NPTEL. These are basically from the Ministry of Human Resources, Government of India, where they have tied up with all the IITs, IIScs, and leading institutes, and they have brought up all the very good professors from all these institutes who can explain the concepts very clearly, and they have created course for us, and who we can enroll and then learn, and we can also get certificate. And I think we have to pay about 1,000 rupees to get a certificate. We have to complete the assigned courseworks and write exams, and then there is some minimum 25% and 75% mark criteria requirement is there to get the certificate. And then other than this, there are Udemy and Coursera. These are very good mobile applications, as well as their internet websites available for learning. And then edX is another one. And the Coursera and edX also provides the foreign university degrees online, right? So though it is little expensive, but if you are interested, we can get a foreign degree from here itself. And the Google Podcast is another place, very interesting place, where you can use effectively when you are doing some workout, or when you are cycling, or walking. You can just listen to this podcast. There are so many channels available, be it business, or be it AIML, or be it Sadhguru's podcast or anything. There are so many resources available, and subscribe to all those things, and whichever you are interested, and just make use of these things. And next one is I just want to go through this Swayam. So they have the courses in every 6 months, and they publish about 500 courses every 6 months. And we have to create a profile in their website and enroll for the courses. There are courses related to engineering, courses related to business management, and entrepreneurships, and so many domains they cover in this. And now for those who are not from engineering background, actually it is not, I don't want to put that way. So those who trying to get into insurance business, or any of those such business, right, where a lot of paperwork and things like that. And this is one technology is creating a lot of jobs right now. It is called robotic process automation. It's also called RPA. Whether you file an income tax return, and how it is getting scanned, and whether you file a insurance claim of your vehicle accidents or damage, then how it is getting processed, and or you apply for a home loan applications, and how it is getting processed. So all those things places, this robotic process automation. The banking industries and manufacturing industries all making use of this technology. And this is one place, one of the skills I recommend to upskill. And so it is called, there are two companies that are leading in this. One is Automation Anywhere, and the second one is UiPath. The automation, both these companies provides free version of their software. You can download, install, and then they also have their own training platform where they can they issue a certificate that you are skilled in this domain, which you can showcase in your profile. So the robotic process automation is the so this basically creates, you might have heard about the robots and things like that in industries. So robots, the first thing comes in our mind is the manufacturing robots, but these are software robots, the bots which you are creating for doing your day-to-day activities. And the other skills which I recommend for is the storytelling skills. And the storytelling is very important nowadays to get the insight of your data, right? There are many tools, but these are the most important tools which I recommend to enroll and study. So they have all these courses also available in the previous course platforms which I mentioned. The Tableau is one of the software, and Power BI from Microsoft, and the Microsoft Excel. So these are the tools or which even though you don't, if one doesn't understand the machine learning, AI, or statistics, we can use this software to bring out the insight from the data, what this data tells us, and how do we plan our future business, where are we spending money, how much returns we are getting it, what is the trend happening, if you see this trend in this month, do we see the same trend in next year, the same month, or next month, what's happening, what's going to happen. So all this trend analysis and the visualization, so all these things, once the data is captured as a visual diagrams, it tells a lot of story to us, right? So this is one of the core skills. If you see NASCOM, I think I haven't captured that here. If you see the NASCOM website, they have a page for future skills, and the RPA and future skills. RPA is also captured in future skills, and this storytelling skills also captured there. It's very important to go through this as a next new generation job market. And the business model now going into cloud, right? So we should also familiar what is cloud. It is like what exactly a cloud means. It's a server, a virtual machine running on a cloud where you deploy your web service as applications, or is it a small endpoint where you send a REST API request and get the result from the endpoint? It could be anything, right? So we should understand what each of these things. Don't ignore these things. These are very important to get into the future business, like Amazon Web Service, Dell Technologies Cloud, or Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform. So these are the 4 cloud services. Then there are next few technologies also disruptive. This is those who, for the next slide, right? That's the whale, right? That is basically the Docker. It's basically the containerization of your applications so that it can run on any environment, and you can also deploy it on cloud. So those who planning to create and deploy an application, making a software and then deploy deploy that application for for your employees. You should understand what is a container means and how do I deploy the containers on the cloud. So these are some of the new things coming up. RPA, Tableau, Power BI, and all these new skills. Please. I'm not sure whether all these are part of your syllabus right now, but if not, please understand these skills or ramp upon these skills by going through Udemy, Coursera, or EDX, or NPTEL, any platform. So they all cover all these areas. And these are 2 courses I mentioned from Coursera. I like it, personally. That's why I want to mention it here. This is from a professor from University of Michigan, George Seidel. And these are very good and very relevant for you to appear for any job interviews, or you are trying to negotiate with any agencies, and you are making some decisions. Very good courses. And the best part of this course is it is free, right? It is free course, and you can enroll and you can learn all this different systematic way of approaching or making negotiations or making a decision. There are very, by research, it is, all these skills are mastered, right? And they have captured. This course basically explains how to do, a successful negotiations and how to make a decision making things like that. So go through this. It is free. Just enroll, and then if you want to get a certificate, I think you have to pay for like 2,000 rupees or something. So, but still, it is worth. If you get a certificate and you can showcase it in your profile. No, that is very valuable for business students. And this one I specifically, created. This is a career learning path. Those who are interested in getting into core machine learning or artificial intelligence domain, right? And these are the courses which NPTEL or Swayam, Government of India provides. They are all starting in this month, June, and next month, July and August. And so I have captured the nature of the course, whether it is beginner or intermediate or advanced. And I have split into 3 buckets. Basically, the core skills, AML core skills, and whether it is cloud computing or IoT related domain or the language, programming language. And the last column is the offering institute. And if you set this as part of your SMART goals, right? All these courses gives weekly assignments, weekly quizzes, and then you can also participate, enroll for a writing exam end of the semester. And once you qualify the exams, you will get a certificate from this IIT and IISc or IIMP, or that's specifying that you have successfully completed. Not only completed, they also evaluated you on these skills, right? So it is very valuable. So the Coursera courses and EDX courses or Udemy courses also have this similar evaluation mechanisms. So I think except Udemy, Udemy doesn't have any evaluation. Just you attend to participate the course and they issue a certificate. But Coursera and EDX also has evaluation mechanisms. But I feel the certificate issued by the IITs are much valuable. So please pay attention to this. And these courses are starting on this month and next month. And I have captured only the skills related to AML, but please go to their website, and there are a lot of courses related to management as well. A lot of courses related to communications or presentation skills and interpersonal skills, and just browse them. There are about 500 courses available from these websites. And this is another website. You are in a college environment where you have access to all the departments, right? Whether it is be it engineering, whether it is mechanical, electrical, electronics, or communication, or computer science, or management. Your business schools are also there. So you should collaborate among your friends from other departments and to see, try to solve the real problems what we are facing today. Try to pick up a problem and then create a network with your friends in other departments, and that will help you to create a business model out of you. And there are also courses from the Startup India, from Government of India, and where you can they explain you how to become an entrepreneurship. And if you have a idea, or if you have a business proposal, how to go about it, and so that you learn about how to create a startup of your own. What is better than that, right? And so this same Startup India creates a forum for you to network with other people who already successfully doing their startup business, and participated in different other webinars and activities like that. So one more thing, right now, if you see, right, if you are pre-skilled already, the government banning the Chinese app actually created a lot of market, right, to create our own startup in those areas, right? Whether it is video sharing or text messaging or whatever it is. The market is already created by the Chinese existing apps, and government banning those apps naturally created opportunity for Indian startups, right? So yeah. So what is basically required is one has to put time to spend how to create an app, and how to deploy the app on the cloud, and how it becomes extensible with respect to how do we store all those video messages and things like that. So that's where you start digging into more and more in deeper, and then making a successful startup. And these are some of the places where you can showcase your skills, and archive if you are doing some research work, or you can publish the papers in archive. And Stack Overflow, Kaggle, Quora, and Digital. These are the other places where you can the Stack Overflow and Quora, you can answer the questions asked by your friends or other members of this forum. The Kaggle is also a earning platform, so you can participate in AIML competitions, and actually hosted a Kaggle competitions to revamp their business into in the recommendation system space, and that's how they are able to improve those algorithms further and able to manage a business. GitHub is another place where you can host your files and share with your showcase your skills there. And this is an important place, the social platforms, and they are very helpful, also very we have to manage it very well. Okay, so why it is because okay, so let me go to the next slide. So basically 14% of profiles have inappropriate photos or infos, and there are 45% of profiles have people drinking or using drugs, and 35% of candidates had poor communication skills, and 33% had bad mouth of previous employer. So why it is important? Because when you are applying for a company, right, and the hiring systems naturally scans through all these profiles, right, and it recommends even our profiles now, it's all now scanned by AIML technologies like RPA and things like that. So the keywords we use there, and they are very important, as well as our social profile. We should not be very we should be what we write, and because it reflect our personality, we are basically creating our mirror in those social platforms. Should be very carefully used. Next one. And these are some of the resources which are very active. So keep up to date professional profile in all these places. And if you are doing any courses, keep update your skill set in all these places, so potential employer can look at it and hire you. Yes, so these are some of the health and fitness apps which I am using it, and all these things should be part of your SMART goals. And so it is, once it becomes the starting is a little difficult. I felt initially when I started cycling to office, it was difficult for me, and it was like once in 2 weeks, and then slowly went to twice in a week, and then started regularly. So once we start, then we achieve our goals. The starting is the main issue for most of us. And then there are a lot of important personalities in the YouTube channels, and go to, for example, the Brian Tracy is one of the motivational speaker. And if you go to their YouTube channel and go to the playlist, you can see a lot of customized topic-wise playlist there. And depending on how your interest, please go through them. And the other one is the TEDx talks, where people share their success stories and how they see this, their view of this world and things like that. So you also, when you see this, right, you also observe the presentation skills, their communication skills, how they overcome their stage fear. Some of the TEDx speakers are very open. They also come on stage to explain how they overcome their stage fear and things like that, and they are very useful. It is not that we are not alone. There are a lot of people around us which they are going through the same situations, and then overcome it, and then come and become successful presenters in the future, right? So go through them, and those who are interested in Linux foundations. Okay, it is not only Linux foundations. At least participate at least 2 conference yearly, and because the conference which I mean, whichever you are interested, there are so many conferences happening, and for most conferences, I think the student passes very minimal fee, or it's almost free, I think. So the Linux Foundations is one place which I am which I follow regularly, because it is relevant to my work also. And once you start following the conferences, you will be up to date. You'll be kept up to date with what is happening in the industries and what are the new skills you have to learn and things like that, right? So it's very important to participate at least 2 conferences in a year, and then you should also see how you can present yourself a topic in the conference, because once you present a topic in a conference, and that gives you a lot of visibility, that it shows how your subject matter expertise, and it shows how open you to share your skills with others, and you also network with a lot of people. No, that is very important nowadays. No, you should find good professional network relationship, and try to build create a virtual mentorship. A mentor is one who helps you to navigate in difficult times, right? So try to at least have 1 or 2 good mentors in your area. So, and so this is another, just an example of another goal. Because I talked a lot about the cloud platforms, and there are a lot of resources available in the YouTube itself, where you can go through this cloud platform. Similarly, there are a lot of contents in the contents about containers or RPA, robotic process automations, or Tableau, or Power BI, or how to use the statistics. And so make use of all these resources, and keep a target of at least 2 or 3 hours on these platforms, and spend every day. Okay, so because if you don't refresh our skills periodically, we tend to forget things, and or the new priorities comes, and then we tend to forget the old priorities, right? So we have to keep a small journal or a diary, how we spend a day, and at least browse it once in a month. So that will help us to remember the previous subjects we have learned. So I think that's my last slide. If you have questions, probably we can spend some. I think there are 5 more minutes left now.
Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful presentation. I know that it is really challenging to acquire these skills, and one has to be continuously contemporary in the world of artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and machine learning. Now the floor is open for questions. Shall we take some questions, sir? Hello?
Yes, please.
Yeah. There is a question from Dr. Anjali Ganesh about the cycling part that you were mentioning as part of the SMART goals.
Yes.
40 kilometers cycling a day was really exciting to me and looks like a SMART goal. Out of 40 kilometers, how many kilometers are measurable in the form of pedaling and bending your knees, where it involves your muscles intensely, and how many kilometers are smart pedaling? These are the very interesting.
Correct. So
the health and fitness. Yeah.
I don't have. So if you install this app like Google Fit or Fitbit or Garmin, right? And I also have a smart watch where it measures your heartbeat and your blood pressure and things like that. It measures a lot of things, and it gives you an it gives you all these parameters in the measurable quantities, whether you are improving it, and it also gives whether you should continue this or you should pause a little bit or not. And it requires see this fit the appliance like smart appliance like Fitbit or Amazfit or those appliances, we should be wearing it, and it helps us to monitor our health using these apps. So it very clearly explains on which part of my on my road I was making a lot of effort, and which was smooth part of it. And it also measures how much time I spent last 5 kilometers, and how much altitude I gained, how much altitude I went down, and a lot of things it measures there. And it gives me a report monthly wise, quarterly wise also. So I don't have a slide on that, but just go through this Amazfit or Google Fitbit, their applications, and those devices measure a lot of information about our physical attributes.
Yeah, there is a second question from Madam Sandeepa K, if I am not wrong, from Sharada College, Basroor. How do you analyze design thinking, which helps to build leadership qualities? The question is on design thinking, sir.
So, so we have to first see the application of or so the way I look at things is understand what is the real problem right now. We are trying to solve it, and then how to approach the problem in a simple and efficient way. It should not be very the solution need not be very complex. The problem looks complex there, but the solution need not be very complex. And so in our group, we go through some of these examples and how a solution is created with a very simple architecture changes and things like that. And so that's how we go about it. We do a little bit brainstorm and go through the relevant previous examples, and then come up with a solution. So that design thinking itself is a big topic to discuss, actually. So maybe we can have another session on that, probably.
I think we don't have questions. With this, I will close the session. I would like to thank Mr. Ashok Narayan Potti for presenting this webinar. Sir, this session was really interesting, very informative, and I hope that all attendees have enjoyed it. Thank you on behalf of the management of St. Joseph Engineering College. We will definitely invite you for some other sessions where you can talk about intensely the application of artificial intelligence, machine learning, particularly in the area of business management, as well as some other topics like design thinking and management, and design thinking for decision making and leadership qualities. With this, I close this session, and thank you, sir, for joining us for this webinar. It was very interesting, and we know that it is really challenging for acquiring these skills, but then it is for the young students to think in this direction and get themselves equipped for the future challenges in business. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
ID. After submitting the feedback form, you will be getting the certificate within 3 working days. So thank you, Mr. Ashok. All have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you, Prakash sir.